Check mic 1, 2, 3. Check mic 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, we just gotta talk up a little bit.
Just gotta talk about. Let's do it.
How is that? 11:20? Boy, it is early.
They'll be happy.
Ready, Mr. Swallow?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Week 6 edition of the Recap Show. 6 weeks have come and gone, Mr. Swallow.
Yes,
High
sir.
school football flying along, and it needs to slow the hell down. But what fun are we having these last 6 weeks of covering great high school football action in the state of Louisiana. God bless high school football, Gary.
You are right, Jordy. I mean, great games all across the state tonight. We covered one, and I'm gonna tell you, it's amazing. But like you said, gone too fast. Before you know it, we're gonna be in the dome.
What an opportunity that we have week in and week out to travel to different stadium and see different players and see different communities come out and watch some high school football. It's an awesome feeling. I tell you what, had a pretty good band tonight too on that Bearcat sideline.
Most definitely, most definitely. And you know what? What makes it exciting for me, and I know it does for you too, is whenever we go out there and people recognize us and they say, "Hey, how y'all doing?" and they, thank you for coming and everything. It's just so appreciative that they say that and they treat us good.
Absolutely. Gary, what a wild week 6 we have this week. We looked down the way here. We did a little prep just to see what kind of night we would be in for. And we had upsets. Did we have upsets?
We had a few of them, yeah.
Gary, we had overtime thrillers.
Mm-hmm.
Games that come down to the very final play. It was
amazing.
I'll get there. It was something to see. And then I look at this, Gary. I look at this paper of scores here. There's a lot of blowouts here.
Right.
Week 6 was full of the blowouts. Dominating performances on the gridiron this week from several different teams on our list.
Right, and against two teams that we didn't think were going to be a blowout. We thought they were going to be very close, and they ended up being one-sided.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Instant classics, like they say in the chat, up north, they had some big ones.
Yes.
We thought that Oak Grove and Haynesville game was going to be the big one that was going to have the huge headlines and have the huge storylines afterwards. But like he said there, it was Ruston and Ash.
Mm-hmm.
That was the game of the night up north.
Oh, up
Absolutely.
north. Yeah, they had games all over the state of Louisiana, up north, down south by New Orleans, Acadiana area. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Great all the way around.
Let's go to New Orleans then. How about a game of the night down in New Orleans? A double overtime thriller. Newman escapes Bell Chase.
Man, if you'd have told me that, I'd have said you're crazy. Newman, Bell Chase. But Bell Chase came in ready to play, and they gave Newman everything that they wanted. Great ball game.
Hey, we stayed there. John Curtis loses again. Second time losing 2 games in a row. First time since 2020. Oof. Welcome to Catholic League football, Gary.
First of all, that's amazing that they did that. Lost back to back.
Overtime.
Yeah,
How
both
sick can you be knowing you lost on the very final play a week ago and you lost in overtime this week? Boy, you got to get it. You got to get back in that locker room and just look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, let's regroup here.
John T. Curtis is
yeah.
going to have his team up. I'm going to tell you right now.
Next week,
I would hate to be an opponent of John Curtis. next week because look out, my friends.
Yes,
It's going to be interesting.
Hey, we said there was a shot. Riverside would be the team to slow down Harlan Berry, and rightfully so. This one wasn't even close.
Right.
How about Riverside going on the road and shutting that young man down tonight?
Right. That was amazing to see that final score.
You look at some teams up north. Captain Shreve, wow.
You got it right.
Hit him with the wow, Gary.
This one was a toss-up for me, but wow. Captain Shreve flexed some muscles.
Wow, Gary. Airline coming in averaging 50 points a game. I'll tell you what, 35 wouldn't be enough tonight because Captain Shreve hung a big 60.
Now, I couldn't believe it. But, let me tell you something. Captain Shreve has
on the road, Gary.
I know it, but they've caught my eye all year. But I thought Airline was scoring. They were just clicking on all cylinders on offense. But that Captain Shreve defense woke up and they held them.
Airline was going to be in my top 5 that they were going to win this week.
Right.
Not no more. No.
Unbelievable, man.
It's going to be a heck of a top 5
They
next
got
week.
plenty of wows on this piece of paper right here.
And down goes West of Ouachita this week. They're finally get a loss in that column.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to think that was a pissed off Ouachita Parish team that was sitting 1-4 on the season.
They were like on.
1-5 on the season.
Don't forget about us. We're still here, and I'll tell you what, they went out there and they proved something tonight.
Union Parish and Manny met in a title game a year ago, Gary.
Right.
Slow starts to begin the year, but good God Almighty, here they come. They're starting to hit their strides. And look out for the Farmers. Look out for the Tigers moving forward.
You better watch it, man. When you have champions that are down and starting off slow, once they start clicking, you better watch it because they're coming,
my friend. So that's just a little taste of things towards north, a little taste of things towards New Orleans. Gary, Lake Charles area, you want a statement? How about you go into Sulphur Stadium and you shut them out and blow them out on their home field? You talk about statement over there in Lake Charles area, Barb over Sulphur tonight.
That was amazing. I didn't see that coming at all.
Did not see it coming, my friend. I thought it was going to be a heck of a football game. It did not live up to the hype.
No, it was. Barb went in there with a vengeance, and they played some good ball.
Looking a little bit further, Lake Charles College Prep, they're in that area.
Right.
They had a big one tonight down there at St. James. That's Troy's people.
Right.
And you look at that, it was the hash it out game of the week. They covered that game. It was a good one for a while. And then St. James, you just separate.
Yeah.
You hit the gas pedal, you put the foot to the pedal, and you just put it on cruise control, my friend.
It was unbelievable. Like I said, we both didn't see this coming. We thought it was going to be a very tight game, and it wasn't. Wasn't. It just wasn't.
Who else surprised you from that Lake Charles area? I got one for you. How about Holly's Lock of the Week now, 5-1, big dog?
That's right. She put it on us. She made the choice. She didn't pick a cupcake game.
She said, St. Louis Lock of the Week, lock it in. We said, okay.
Okay. Over Westlake.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah, lock it in. Guess what? Key, lock, St. Louis.
St. Louis. Let me tell you something. St. Louis, 4-1. They're making statements all over the year. Yes, they had a loss, but guess what? They're playing some high-quality football here.
They lost to a team out of Texas.
I know.
Here. They did not lose to anybody in Louisiana
I
yet.
know. They had to go over there to get a loss,
Or they came to us and they got a loss.
Yeah, whatever.
They might not lose again.
They may not. Could you imagine that district?
Could it be a district championship game against Iowa, at Iowa, on senior night?
Might be. Might be.
I don't know. We're just spitballing.
Yeah, we just throwing stuff in the air.
Gary, we talked overtimes at the beginning of this show.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 for you that stood out around this area.
Okay.
Number 1, Jeanerette over Hanson Memorial tonight.
I know.
In overtime. Hello, somebody in the chat. Holla at your boy Gary Swallow, because Jeanerette at home knocks off Whew, I lost my train of thought. Knocks off undefeated
Right.
Hanson Memorial.
Hanson
They
Memorial.
came in 5-0. They came in ready to knock off Jeanerette. This one went to overtime,
Right.
Gary. This one ended in a 2-point Tiger football win. What a win.
That
What a game.
Anytime you go to overtime,
What a week 6.
when you do it like that, yes, what a week 6. And that game there, first of all, that game there was close. I knew it was going to be. But man, it must have been. I would have loved to have been there with my popcorn.
Absolutely.
Oh, God, it would have been great.
You know another one that you would have been on the edge of your seat for, and that came down to a 2-point conversion, my friend. No, not that way.
Not that way?
That
way? Okay,
That
that
way.
one. Okay, because I was going, which one you talking
That
about?
way, my friend.
All right,
We're
let's
not
go.
going towards New Orleans. We're going to God's country.
That's right.
Gary, what a night for the Northwest Raiders. It's not easy to go into Bulldog country and knock off Iota at home. They talk about that environment. They talk about that stadium. They say you just don't go in there and beat Iota. Did that phase Northwest Raiders? Did Chris Edwards tell us, guys, okay, maybe next week we'll get a win? We just can't go into God's country and get a win tonight. That's not the type of message I know he presented in that locker room. Hey, we're here to spoil homecoming. We're here to win a district title. How about them Raiders?
That's right. And you know, like how we know from our experience and our history with Iota, Iota is a hard place to win.
Yes.
You go in there, and no matter how good you are, how bad they are, or whatever, it's hard
is there
to win. They're there to win, and they're there to defend their home field. But when you go in there
with a chip on your shoulder.
Oh yes, chip on your shoulder. And
everybody counting you out. Nobody on this panel picked them, Gary.
I know it, and that's terrible. But I knew it was going to be close. But that's not normal. They went in there with a chip on their shoulders to spoil their homecoming, and you know what? They did.
Gary, they have that thing circled. You know what that thing circled is? District title. And they're one step closer.
This may have been the district championship right here. That game.
They get Church Point at home.
Get Church Point at home, so they have a chance. But this could have easily been the national champion.
What are you talking about?
The district championship. I know.
What's in that cup?
Don't look in there. It got some strong stuff in there.
Gary, it came down to a 2-point conversion. In overtime, Northwest scored first and got the 2-point conversion. That put pressure on Iota.
Right.
But rightfully so, you expected Iota to answer. They got the touchdown. They called the timeout. Northwest got to set their defense. Iota got to come out with their best play in their opinion. Incomplete pass. And the celebration all the way back to Prairie Run.
Right. Alex was jumping up and down, being crazy, but that's okay. He deserved it.
Absolutely.
But, and we got a chance to actually watch because we saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was there, but, it just fell incomplete.
Game of inches.
Yeah, that far. And you know what? Congratulations to the Raiders.
We'll see. Big one next week.
You're right.
Point, I believe. Gary, everybody was high on Rain.
We were.
Gary.
We watched them and could not believe how good they were. Mm-hmm. And, man, I'm sorry. I got disappointed.
Gary, this team right here, we saw them in person.
Right.
We've seen the scores over the last few weeks. You expected a special night at Wolf Stadium, knowing it was homecoming night. Alumni was coming back into town, and you got one of the top running backs in the state of Louisiana on your sideline.
You're right.
Oh, baby. Did that phase the Bobcats tonight?
Man, not at all. They just woke up. Some sleeping giant in the Bobcats.
Hey,
they just went rawr.
Hey, district play units trying to defend their district crown, and they made a huge statement tonight that says the district still runs through E-Town.
And you know what? I gotta agree. After this performance tonight, it's like we're the champs until you beat us. And you know what? I agree with that. So Go ahead. I'm on the bandwagon. Go Eunice.
Hey, this was the team I thought could get Eunice, but moving forward, I don't think they lose another district game.
I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. I'm with you on that. I think that they're going to be strong. Like you said, the district title goes through E-Town.
Yes, indeed. That's a huge statement win tonight. It pretty much sent.
We get there.
It pretty much sent a message to the entire state of Louisiana, like, we can show up and play physical brand of football
Right.
and put it on you week in and week out. So, hey, impressive win. You got our attention for sure.
Oh, most definitely. I just can't believe, how they woke up, and I'm proud of them. That's right down the street. Right down the street, not far. Great. I'm so excited for you guys.
Gary, another team that burned us this week. And it seems like it's a trend here.
It's a trend. Every week we get burned.
Yeah, it's a trend here. I mean, I looked at the paper here. I think I went 40-8, so I got burned 8 times.
Well, you got better than me. I went 36-12, so I have 12 losses on my book.
Gary, Ascension Episcopal. We didn't know how to read this team these last few weeks. They
Right.
had some tough losses. They had some big wins. But Catholic in New Iberia was rolling into town.
Right, and we've seen them.
We saw them in the Jamboree. We were very impressed with that core that they had under new head football coach there. They had to go on the road back-to-back weeks. They pulled off an emotional win last week.
Correct.
And this week, Gary, they went into Blue Gator Stadium, and they would not walk out of Blue Gator Stadium with a win. What a win for Ascension Episcopal. It's district time, baby. And Ascension Episcopal might have just put themselves in the driver's seat for that district title.
That's the way it's looking, Jordy. I think, first of all, I always did last year, I always was a big fan of the Blue Gators. And I just, after seeing Catholic of New Iberia perform in person and play in person, I gave them the edge, but Ascension Episcopal said, not so fast, my friend.
Hey, that's why you put the football down, you play 4 quarters, and you let the best team win.
Right.
Great night of high school football. Like I said, it's not much to recap here because it's a lot of lopsided scores. But we'll jump into Thursday night football, my friend.
Let's get it, my friend.
We got the pleasure of covering Opelousas High at Nish. It's a special moment for us, my friend, because that was our very first time covering a 5A school on our small platform here. We're nothing big,
Right.
but what an honor it was to cover 5A football
Right.
this week.
And Nish has such tradition over there. They're always good, competitive. They may not win state championships every year, but they're competitive every year. They win a few, the majority of their games. So it's always good to get an opportunity to go and see them. And I didn't get a chance to go. I know you went, but I heard that the stadium was beautiful. I heard you had a great setup. So I'm just excited that we're expanding and getting more into it.
Absolutely. Gary, it was the Russian attack of the Opelousas Tigers that night. How about if I told you the quarterback went 0 for 4 with 0 passing yards, but had
Wow.
85 rushing yards, and his counterpart in the backfield, by the name of Mr. Ford.
Mr. Ford, I was getting ready to say, is that the Mr. Ford that we know?
16 carries, $149 on the ground, 2 touchdowns, light work.
Right.
The man didn't even play much of the fourth quarter.
Right.
So he is licking his chops trying to get ready for that Cecilia game in a few weeks.
Right. Oh, that's going to be some excitement on the field right there.
One of the biggest games in our area,
Yes.
for sure. Should be for the district title. I don't see anything getting in the way of it, and Cecilia's dang good too.
Right. I agree
think
with
they're
you.
better than they were a year ago.
I agree 100%.
So OHS moves to 4-2. Nish falls to 0-6. Gary, 42-13 final. Thank you for the opportunity to cover 5A football this week.
We appreciate that so much, guys.
Elton and Gaydon, Mr. Brendan came on the show this
Right.
past week. Great night that we had Wednesday. Brought us some boudin from Mr. T's.
Right.
And he's celebrating a big win Thursday night. 51-0 over Gaydon. Congratulations, Mr. Brendan.
Yeah, most definitely.
DeQuincy and Vinton battled for the Big Cat Classic, Gary Swallow. 35-0 shutout win on the road. DeQuincy gets their second win of the season.
Right.
And the Big Cat Classic stays another year in DeQuincy.
Well, I know somebody that's all excited.
He ain't called me yet.
No, he didn't call me
yet.
yet.
You yet, so he must be in jail.
Either that or he's working, one or the other. But hey, I know he was all pumped up and excited for that.
Get your one phone call out of jail, Jake.
That's right.
You get a collect call from Mr. Jake McCoy. Do you want to
answer it or do you ignore it? No. Congratulations, Jake. Well deserved over there, guys.
Como Southside. This one was interesting, Gary. It was a 24-7 lead for Como at halftime. And then, I don't know what type of halftime speech is going on over there at Southside. It was homecoming night, my friend. And did they come out with a vengeance in the second half? There were about 49 unanswered in the span of 2 quarters. Who does that? You're down 24-7 and they never blink.
It's like, okay, let's quit playing around now and let's get serious. And they did.
Unbelievable. Everybody eyebrows raised in the state of Louisiana when they seen that halftime score, and then everybody's jaws dropped in the state of Louisiana whenever they see that they just really score 49 points in the matter of 24 minutes. Yeah,
they sure did.
Yeah, that Shark football team did, and that Shark football team is 5-1 now, Mr. Swallow.
I'm gonna tell you, Coach Wano, I don't know what he's feeding those boys, but guess what? He's got them on the right path. For as new a school as that school is, and we keep talking about that, but they're starting to get to be not so new anymore because everybody knows about them. And man, look out.
Absolutely, my friend. LCA Northside. This game was supposed to be at Northside High School. We had some bad weather pushing around midday. They eventually moved the game to LCA. Got a turf field over there. This game was close at first. And then the night train got rolling, my friend.
Did they?
And they hung 65 on the scoreboard in front of their home crowd. Knocked off Northside 22. You see the strides. You see the improvement on Northside where they're getting better every week. So get ready to see them in the near future and in the next few seasons.
Agreed. I mean, they're on the right path. They just need to basically just learn a little bit more, get more comfortable with the system, and I think they're going to be very strong in the future. But what can you say about LCA? The night train keeps going. The
night train got a big game next week. That's what I can say about LCA. Yeah. Gary, how about a good old-fashioned shootout on Thursday night? This one was a combined 70 points between two teams. If you like offense, you should have been in South Beauregard Thursday night. Boy, did we miss a good one.
Sure
Iowa and South Bow in a classic. Final score, Iowa 40, South Bow 30. Iowa now moves to 3-0 in district play.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's getting interesting, my friend. Lake Charles College Prep still in that running.
Right.
Don't count them out yet. But Iowa, St. Louis, I gotta see it for the district title.
That's good. That's 90. I'm 90% sure. I don't know that, but that's on a collision court. That's what's going to happen.
Those senior classes from the Saints and the Yellow Jackets are loaded.
They're chomping at the bits and they're ready for each other.
That's two experienced groups that are itching for it to say district title game number 2.
Number 2, right.
Last year they played for it. So sign me up.
Hey, sounds good to me.
Whew. Here we go, Gary.
Oberlin. Yeah,
Oberlin and East Beauregard. How about we come into this matchup and thought Oberlin would keep this one closer, but we were on this East Beauregard bandwagon at the beginning of the year. Kind of fell off a little bit after a loss to Grand Lake a week ago. at the Grand Lake a week ago, and then they come back the following week at home and put their foot down and impose their will, if you say. And if I can make a statement here, Gary, they have to be the favorite in that district right now.
Oh, most definitely.
From what I've seen up to
yes.
this point, East Beauregard, Basile on a collision course, but they got to be the favorite right now.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier today. Yes, most definitely.
But 30-12 win at home, East Beauregard over Oberlin. Grand Lake and Welsh met Thursday night also, Gary. 51-6 statement win on Thursday night belongs to the Greyhounds. When you just go and dominate a Grand Lake team.
Oh, yes. That's not normal.
No. But the Greyhounds have found their stride.
Yeah, Welsh is clicking right now. They cleaned up a little bit of the problems that they had, and they're basically hitting on all cylinders right now. So they're actually doing pretty good.
St. Michael and West Feliciana are a final game from Thursday night, Gary. St. Michael's came in with a 5-0 record.
Right.
They were up 13-0 in the fourth quarter. Gary, West Feliciana at home reeled their way back and knocked off St. Michael 14-13. Tell me about it, my friend.
When you
We're
do
down
that,
13-0 in the fourth to undefeated St. Michael.
that just tells me that, West Feliciana just said, okay, enough of this. We're not going to do this no more. It's unbelievable how this can happen. So it's just one of those things. But I think that whenever you have a team down, you have to make sure that you keep the gas going. You keep the pedal to the metal. And they didn't do that, and it bit them.
Hey, some chats here. They want to know who Ascension Episcopal played. They played Catholic in New Iberia, and then Red River finally gets a win tonight over Jonesboro. First win for head football coach over there. Congratulations to the Bulldogs. Yes, indeed. Anybody got any questions for myself or Gary? Leave them in the chat. If you would like to shout out your team in the chat, go ahead and do that now. If you got a big win tonight, or if you got a family member or coach, teammate that got something special tonight, big win, maybe good stats, shout it out in the chat right now. Hit the like, hit the share. We'll read all your comments tonight for sure. We'll get to all your questions. Let's see if I can get through these games right here. Basile Hamilton Christian. It was number 7 that got player of the game honors tonight.
Right.
What about that 1-2 punch that you saw?
That was one of the best 1-2 punches, but I tell you what, number 7 shined. He really pushed himself for tonight.
Absolutely.
For tonight, he pushed himself
he did it
up
on
there.
the defensive side also.
As well, yeah. You got the smaller schools; they have people going both ways. But man, they have a good 1-2 punch. But number 7 really shined today.
Absolutely. And you look at the game itself, penalties plagued Hamilton Christian big time.
Penalties,
also turnovers.
And you gotta say how it is. Their star quarterback was out, so that had a lot to do with this. They couldn't really throw the ball. I mean, they only had a couple of receptions. They were off, they were off cue a little bit, but overall, I think that they're going to be, once they get all of their people back and get them in the right, I think they're going to be a force to reckon with. But tonight, Basile was clicking.
Mr. Cortez was what? He was 1 for 1 on field goals, 2 for 3 on extra points, or 3 for 4 on extra points?
One was, it wasn't blocked. It had a bad snap.
Yes. So 3 for 4
he was,
extra point night and 1 field goal?
1 field goal, yes.
Yeah. Great night from the special teams.
Yeah.
Also, some pretty good punts.
Yeah. Oh, he had some good punts. One of them, he boomed that thing and went over the guy's head. He just looked up and watched it. It was like a missile.
Yeah, and he told me when I was walking back up to go meet you in pregame, he said he thinks he tied or broke the record tonight, and Basil's all-time kick on the kickoff touchback record. So he might have broke the record tonight, or might have tied the record for all-time kick touchbacks at Basil. So we'll see. I have to get a stat line from one of the coaches.
Yeah, talk to him.
But congratulations if he does have that honor tonight.
Correct.
St. Ed's, North Central tonight. Happy homecoming, Blue Jays. No problem tonight. 48-0 over the Hurricanes. Lowerville, West St. Mary. I want to send a shout out to West St. Mary. I sponsored a pregame meal for those guys over there this week, so hopefully they enjoyed. But Lowerville, too strong, too much, too well coached tonight to knock off West St. Mary at home. Lowerville, Ascension Episcopal. When do they play? That'll be the one. That'll be the one I'm looking forward to see when they play.
Yeah.
Because they might be on the collision course.
Right. That would be. That's going to be a nice ball.
Franklin dominated a young Delcom team tonight, 51-0. Right. Franklin gets their third win of the season.
Right.
Kaplan, a little closer than a lot of people expected. Crawley played them close tonight, 22-13. Welcome back to the star tailback over there at Kaplan, coming back from injury.
Right.
I know they're happy to get those guys back.
Yeah, that's affected them.
When you looked at Mr. Landry, that stepped up the last few weeks. So now they got 2, 3, 4 guys that can go at any moment in that offense they run.
Right.
Livonia picks up their second win of the season, knocking off Beauchesne. I bet that was a heck of a game to watch tonight. 14-7, a good old defensive showcase on display tonight. So congratulations to Coach Laborde tonight and Livonia Wildcats. We'll see them in a couple weeks.
Yeah, sure will.
Church Point, happy homecoming to the Battling Bears. Knock off Port Barry tonight, 56-12. Bears, Raiders. Collision course coming.
You're right.
Collision course coming. Logansport and Rose Pine, that was a shutout win tonight, 38-0. Logansport gets their 5th win of the season. Always quarterfinal good. Keep an eye out on Logansport moving forward in that Division 4 bracket.
You're right.
Division 4 rankings.
You're right.
St. Martinville, ERAV, battle of 1 and 4 teams. St. Martinville would cruise tonight at home, 43-14, avenging last week's loss to Lafayette. So good to see them get another win this week.
You're right.
Notre Dame, too much for Lake Arthur tonight. Lake Arthur ran into a brick wall. It's called the Pios, and they still run that district, Gary.
Yes,
49-7, Pios over the Tigers tonight.
Notre Dame is always going to be strong in their district, and they just flexed some muscles tonight.
A little district play these next 2 games. Catholic of Pointe-Coupee all over Sacred Heart tonight. Make that 4 in a row for the Hornets of Catholic of Pointe-Coupee, 42-6. They get their 4th win of the season after starting out 0-2. So
correct.
Watch out for those Hornets. Coach Sharoof got those guys playing tough, physical Hornet football.
Last few years, it's come down to the last week.
That district race is always good, boy. You know who's been the district champ the last 2 years? Opelousas Catholic, my friend. They welcome in Westminster tonight. Little crosstown robbery, if you would say it. I'm not sure if they really call it that, but same city. We're under the lights here. 41-6 all over the Crusaders tonight. OC battle-tested, ready to tackle their district, and they ready to roll, my friend.
They are.
41-6, good win for OC there. St. Thomas More, no problems tonight over North Vermilion. Shutout win, 54-0. Everybody talks about the offense over there at over there for the Cougars, but nobody's talking about the defense. And that's a shutout district win tonight. So they're winning in all 3 phases, my friend.
They're a solid all-around team. And look out.
Barb shocks Lake Charles tonight, 31-0 over Sulphur, Who saw that score coming?
I didn't see that. I thought it was going to be close, and I actually gave Sulphur the edge. But boy, did they prove me wrong.
Oof, my goodness.
Yeah, that was terrible.
On the road at that, and they go knock off the in-city rivalry.
Right.
And that was, Sulphur was going for 3 in a row. Barb
Right.
stops that streak.
Right.
Mr. Gary, the Civil War happened tonight between Cecilia and Brobridge. Well, Cecilia and their talented football team rolled another week. Who beat this Cecilia team? I do not remember, but man, what a game that must have been. I think it was Southside, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it may well be. But let me tell you something. Cecilia, they're clicking on all cylinders. They're a team to be reckoned with in that district.
Man, a favorite
Yeah.
in that district.
Oh, yeah.
If they get OHS at home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't wait to see that Cecilia OHS game. That is going to be on fire.
We thought last year's Cecilia OHS game was something. This year's got so much more stakes.
Right.
Gary Carencro, they had a chip on their shoulder this week. They said, everybody says we can score at ease. We can score points for days. But I'm sure that defense got challenged this week.
Oh,
I'm
God.
sure they got into that locker room and got after that practice. Gary, did they respond in a big way? How about a goose egg tonight, shutting out Lafayette? You know, after last week's 34 points that they gave up to Nish, they wanted to have something to prove tonight.
Well, and then you got, I hate to say this, these two teams are always at each other because I don't like to say they don't like each other, but I don't think that they care for each other that much because there's like Crosstown, you know, Carencro is really like Crosstown for that. But the Crow.
At the Crow Dome.
At the Crow Dome.
6-0 now.
Man, you can't stop those guys. They're undefeated.
Who's on the collision course?
Oh, guess what? They got them and Acadiana.
Acadiana, Carencro collision course.
Oh, man. But that district is so tight. Man, Southside still got a shot.
They got to knock off Acadiana.
Yeah, that's right.
Have a shot.
So this district is so close. But who's the two top leaders in my book? The Wrecking Rams and the Golden Bears.
Yes, indeed, my friend.
Look out.
Hey, a scary good football team is the Gina Giants. The Gina freaking Giants, Gary.
Look out.
60-20 tonight over Marksville. Happy homecoming to the Giants. Collision course. Part 2. We'll talk about all kind of collision courses tonight because there's a lot of teams on pace to meet each other down the road that has big time implications. And Gina is another one.
That is right.
Gina, Bunky, book it.
Book it. Yeah, look out.
Speaking of that Bunky football team, no problems with the team that we thought would give them their toughest test of the year. All they would do is beat them 48-14. We said they were coming in only allowed 30 points or 24 points through 5 weeks.
Right.
Gary, this defense is good.
Yes, they are.
That Gina offense is good.
Right.
Week 8.
Look out.
Week 8, you better be there.
You're right.
Gary, we look at Holly's lock of the week. St. Louis 46, Westlake 13. Lock it in. Thank you so much. Holly's now 5-1 on locks of the week. Saints March. Saints are swag surfing all the way back to St. Louis.
Holly's got it going. She didn't like that loss that they gave. She got earlier, so I think she's on a vengeance now.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Central Catholic knocked off Centerville tonight to give them their second loss, 35-14. That's 2 in a row for Central Catholic, knocking off really good football teams. They knocked off Generette a week ago. That was undefeated. They knocked off Centerville this week, 4-1. Tempers flared at the end of the game.
Oh, it was kind of scary.
Got chippy at the end. Eunice Rain, we talked about it, 48-14. Spoiled homecoming, shut down one of the top running backs in the state, and Eunice Bobcats still run that district.
That's right.
Northwest in overtime tonight, 37-35. We talked about it earlier. We gave our thoughts And what a win for Coach Edwards and his entire staff and that Raider football team.
Most definitely. I think that this was, they made a statement tonight. Iota was on a course to where everybody thought it was going to be Iota and Church Point probably in the district. Northwest just said, don't forget about us.
Yes, indeed. Everybody overlooked them, including ourselves.
Right.
And they opened some eyes tonight.
That's right. Very good.
Jennings, the return of Coach Fusilier, would not be disappointed tonight. Coach Fusilier goes back into the same building that he took that team to many state titles.
Correct.
And his Jennings Bulldogs team was ready to play tonight. They spoiled Kinder's homecoming. His return is oh so sweet. 31-0 all over the Yellow Jackets tonight. Coach Fusilier, I know he's going to sleep good tonight.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you go back to where you coached before, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet most of the time, and I know it was bittersweet for him because he had so much success over there. But, he went on. He moved forward and went on to a new path, and he's starting it off right. That looked pretty good tonight.
Yes, indeed. Pine beats Albany tonight, 41-15. They stay undefeated on the year. Wassman goes on the road, shuts out Carroll, 38-0. This Wassman team is really good, especially holding Calvary Baptist to 21 points. Watch out for Wassman moving forward, Gary.
Yes.
We covered a game over there a few years ago. You never know. We might be back in the building, in the stadium.
We might.
Real soon.
We might.
Ruston, Alexandria, that game was a thriller. 35-28. Ruston finally got some offense going this week, and they would have to rely on their defense again to escape with a 7-point win. Ruston now 6-0 on the year, my friend. Forfeit win gives them their 6th win.
Right.
Neville, no problems tonight over 4-1 Peabody, 51-0. They get a win after last week's heartbreaker of a loss. Union Parish starting to roll, 43-14 over North Webster. Does Union Parish have a mega game next week or what?
Yes, they do.
I don't know if you know who they play, but when I read this later on,
Go ahead, we'll wait.
you know it's going to be in our games next week when we're making our picks. So
right.
You're going to want to tune in for that one. Let's see. Abbeville, St. Charles. St. Charles is just that dang good, my friend. 51-0 over Abbeville. Comets on a collision course for state title number 3. 3 in a row is the goal, and I think they're well on their way, but they got some teams that they can meet in the playoffs that could give them trouble.
But, man, right now, I don't see anybody touching them right now.
Absolutely. How about a big-time upset tonight, Gary? Avoyles takes down Oakdale tonight. Happy homecoming to the Mustangs. 36-22 victory over Oakdale. A couple of us on the panel the other night said they're battle tested. That's non-district schedule was brutal.
Brutal, right.
And you look at that and just think, homecoming night, brutal schedule, got them ready to go and win a game like this tonight.
And I'll be honest with you, I didn't see that coming. I thought Oakdale was clicking on all cylinders. A good friend of mine, former student, is coaching over there, and they've had such a good flow of things going with them. But, man, Avoyles in that crazy offense just put it on them.
They can give the best teams the nightmares.
You're right.
Santa Mott takes down East Ascension 23-8. Santa Mott now 6-0. We know that Santa Mott team beat OHS a few weeks ago. Look out for Santa Mott in that power rankings whenever they update tomorrow. We're going to see how high they are because that's a good 6-0 football team.
Santa Mott is good. You don't ever underestimate them.
Bell Chase Newman tonight, double overtime. The Arch days are over, and this Newman football team is 5-0, Gary.
I'll say it. I think they're better now than they were with Arch. I mean, I'm sorry. I think they're more well-rounded. They don't have the publicity of Arch Manning now. They can actually say, hey, we're a team now. I like this Newman team.
There you go, my friend.
I really did.
How about this Riverside team going knock off St. Martin's Episcopal and shutting down one of the nation's top tailbacks in Harlan Berry? 55-14. Hello, somebody. Give it to me.
Give it in. That's a wow.
Give me
big
some
wow
big
for
wow tonight. 55-14 statement.
That's right.
Lake Charles College Prep 16, St. James 39. Another, oh Lord have mercy. Riverside's running back ran for 344 yards tonight. He's an 8th grader.
Oh my gosh.
Give him 2 hours.
That's a wow and a bigger wow. Man, that's crazy.
Sip some of that drink.
Oh, yeah, I might have to give me some of my time.
There you go, my friend. Ooh, that's big time
wow,
news
that
there.
is great, man.
Any other big time news that we missed, Brayton? Let us know. Airline getting their first loss of the season, 35-60 final over Captain Shreve. We talked about it a little earlier. Sam Houston came in with an undefeated streak and ran into a brick wall tonight in what the phase of Fear to Veer. Acadiana gets their 5th win of the season, 56-13. Rams, 5 in a row. Oak Grove, Haynesville. When we talk about statement wins of the night, this one has to be in that category because this one was a undefeated Haynesville. 2 teams look primed to get to the Dome. Gary, 61-27. I had people from Oak Grove tell me there's a lot of question marks still unanswered about this team. They played some really good competition these first couple weeks. How would they respond the rest of the way? Could they play Oak Grove football the rest of the way? Yeah, this is a good start.
That's a good start.
That's a really good start. You can very well see Oak Grove back at the Dome later on.
Most definitely. It looks like they corrected everything that they had that they thought that was wrong. I think they did a real good job tonight.
Westgate Turlings all Preston Wash and that Rebel offense tonight, 38-14. Down goes Westgate, setting up a mega game next week at home against LCA.
Right, you're right. Turlings, we've been talking about Turlings all year. This is probably one of the best Turlings teams that we've ever seen. Probably, we could almost say the best ever.
Absolutely, my friend.
Good job.
Go ahead, Gary. Talk a little smack.
Well, I mean, you talking about Turlings and Westgate. I mean, and basically, Turlings is one of the best teams that we have in the Acadiana area. Now,
STM would give them a.
You know. But that's one of the main things that we have to watch is we have to watch. You know, will they stay healthy? Will they be consistent? And will they be able to get in a bracket that's not going to be you know, overwhelming for them, because they have to make a show and keep making strides to get better and better and better. So it's very important.
See if Mr. Ray will get on the line real quick and let us know about that Oak Grove game.
Yeah, that's what
Mr. Ray.
Yeah.
Jordan Taylor here.
Hey, what's up, dude?
We got some football to talk real quick before you go to bed, my friend.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of good games up here this week. What were y'all's biggest games? And Cedar Creek had a bye.
Mr. Ray, I'll jump right into it for you. I wrote some things down for you I would like to talk about. First off, Oak Grove, how about a 60 spot over Haynesville? A lot of people.
Man, I did not see that coming at all.
A lot of people question Oak Grove where they stood. They're still Oak Grove, my friend.
Oh, absolutely. And look, I tell everybody, November football doesn't look anything like September football. I've seen Oak Grove start slow many times, and then boom, they take off. And you know, Haynesville jumped out to a lead in that game. They were up like 14-0.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they had an early lead, and then it was 21-14, maybe midway through the second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, went to halftime. I think might have been knotted up, or Oak Grove might have separated by a score by half, and the second half was just all Tigers.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was a big one. Of course, we had Ruston and Ash, which ended up being just a one-score game by Ash, by Ruston.
Right.
But look, it was homecoming week. It feels like Ruston, you know how homecoming week is. I think they were maybe distracted, thinking about the dance, because Ash shouldn't have played Ruston to a one-score game, but they did.
Well, let me jump into my next topic for you. I want to know about last year's state championship game between, it was Union Parish and Manny. Both of them slow starts up to the beginning of the season. Now those guys seem like they're ready to run. Talk to me about Union Parish and Manny, how they just hitting a new gear.
Yeah, you know, Manny got a new head coach, got a new staff. Of course, Curtis moved on to where'd he go? Natchitoches Central.
Yes, sir. Natchitoches Central.
Yeah, so Manny started over with a new coaching staff. You know, Jamboree was rough. First week was rough. Then they kind of got their sea legs under them, and they seem to be rolling. And Union just plays a brutal schedule. Like, there'd be many great teams that would be 2-3, 3-2 through Union's non-district schedule. They get themselves ready for the playoffs.
Right.
Which is what you need to do if you're a competitor, or if you're a team that thinks you can make a run. Now, different arguments on when you do that for a team. If the team's rebuilding, you don't want to do that. But when you're Manny or you're Union and you expect to be there, you know, they play a tough non-district. Mm-hmm. And it shows up come October, November football.
Mr. Ray.
Yes, sir.
St. Mary stays undefeated tonight. West Ouachita gets their first loss of the night. Talk about those two squads.
Well, West Ouachita is doing the opposite of what Manny and Union does, and West Ouachita plays a kind of a weak. Mm-hmm. You know, they're a 5A program, and they play a little bit of a weaker non-district schedule, so they're rolling 5-0, and they've kind of done this for a while. So it looks like, I don't know, is this the year? Is West Ouachita for real? And then you get into that that 2-5A district, and it gets a little different, you know. So their first 5A opponent was tonight. It was a struggling 1-4 Ouachita who just got punched in the mouth by OCS last week. Mm-hmm. They're mad. They're coming in, and look, they took it to West Ouachita. Yes, but West Ouachita, if Mike Rainwater, he's wanting to compete down there and kind of turn it around, I think they're going to have to look at that pre-district schedule and pump it up a little bit.
I got two more for you, Ray, before we get you on out of here.
What you got?
First off, Captain Shreve over Airline tonight. Wow.
Well, that running back, Captain Shreve, we've talked about him a lot. We've talked about that Airline quarterback. But I don't think – it didn't look like Airline could stop that ground game of Captain Shreve tonight. Pardon my voice, too. I had a championship game 2 days ago with my Pee Wee team, and I was yelling, so my voice is gone.
There you go.
That Captain Shreve running game is something serious. And they took it to Airline, and things are getting real in October, boys.
Absolutely.
You're right.
Hey, and we're starting to figure out who's who, aren't we?
Yes, indeed. Yes, we are.
Last one for you, my friend. I'll get you ready for week 7 right here. Next week, Union Parish at Sterlington.
Oof, man, I like Sterlington by a little.
Hey, it's going to be a fun week 7. A lot of lopsided scores tonight. But
yeah, tonight is what I said. Tonight was kind of boring, save for those. You know, we had 4 or 5 really good ones up here, but other than that, it was kind of lackluster. A lot of 48-0, a lot of homecoming dances and things like that going on.
Absolutely,
exactly. Here too.
Ray, anything?
I saw that.
Anything else you would like to say to close out week 6 as we get ready for week 7?
Man, that's it. Can't believe we're in the back quarter of the season, and here we go. It'll be playoff time before we know it. But I look forward to talking to you guys next Friday, and hopefully my voice is back.
Absolutely. Ray, always a pleasure. Thanks for the call, my friend.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
All right, Gary. Y'all be good.
All right, bye.
It's always great, Gary, to have somebody call in and talk a little North Louisiana football.
Most definitely.
We're in the central part of Louisiana right here. We're in Opelousas, so we don't have the ins and outs, but to hear a different voice tonight and just see, I mean, it was not the best night, but you still have some good matchups up north.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. You gotta love it too.
Yes, on the phone there was Mr. Ray Creasy, so thank you for always letting that under the lights bring you on and talk a little North Louisiana football. I tried to get JB on the phone.
Yeah.
I don't think he called back though, Mr.
Nope,
Gary.
sure did
So
not.
we'll move on with the show here. A lot of great New Orleans football happened tonight, so he's definitely missing out. At this time, Gary, we talked about these games here. It is time to pick games of the night, my friend.
You right,
Before
buddy.
you go into there, let's get to our chat here. I promised the chat we would go in here, and you can think about those games of the night while we.
I got it. I got it.
Let's see. Quick look at the chat. Mr. Keenan says, "How about those Bearcats? How about them, Gary?"
That's right, man. Them Basile Bearcats are looking good.
Yes.
They're looking towards a collision course at the end of towards the end of the year for that district title again. It's going to be interesting.
Miss Colley says Bearcats. Mr. Williams says Ruston and Ash was a classic any given Friday.
That's right.
Mr. Keenan said Iowa lost their homecoming. Yeah, we talked about that. Mr. Carter said he had Catholic and New Iberia winning that district, but I guess it's gonna be oh, I said that wrong. He had Catholic winning the second part. Oh, it's a misprint.
Okay.
Mr. Coach said Union strong, Union
That's right.
Punish.
You're right. Most definitely.
Nia says she was shocked Barr beat Sulphur.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Stephen Brown says keep sleeping on Eunice. There was a lot
That's
of us.
right. A lot of us been doing that. You know what? No more.
Isaac said Avoyos and Northwest winning tonight is shocking. That's big
You're right.
shock waves
Yes,
for sure.
you're right.
Sam Bacon checking in, drinking them a little cooler tonight,
yeah.
saying let's go.
Got him a little alcoholic beverage there.
Nia says go Sharks. Joshua said Red River finally got a win tonight.
Yeah.
Chad the Calagon says Bulldogs. Miss Tricia says LCA. Mr. Ross says Basile. Jesse says sounds like he had a good leg on him, talking about Mr. Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Miss April LeBlanc says go Basile Bearcats, and Mr. Tucker LeBlanc, our player of the game tonight.
Right. That's right.
Kirk Taylor checking in. Evening, fellas. Hello, Coach. Devin Staub checking in. Ladies and gentlemen, we're live.
That's
Also
right.
Said Curtis losing 2 weeks in a row.
That's
Mm-hmm.
how they say that? That's unbelievable. First of all, but hey, it happens.
Mr. Cam says Northwest is really good. 34 can play with anyone. Tailback.
Yeah,
We
you're
saw
right.
him play a couple weeks ago, and he's the real deal. Duck Rose Sports Network checking in. Gators 6-0.
That's right.
Braden's talking about that brawl at the end of the Central Catholic game, and also the shooting at the Hanville Thibodeau game.
Right, guys. It's so sad that when you see something like that. You know, a brawl is one thing, but a shooting. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, this is high school football. They don't need any of that. You know.
Jesse says Turlings LCA should be a heck of a game. I completely agree.
Right.
Chris says Eunice with the wow tonight.
Yes, big wow tonight, Chris.
Absolutely. Chris also says keep winning, Turlings.
Yeah,
Power
you're right.
points.
Power points. You're right. Get it going.
But as I look at your chat there, 19 of you still with us. Do us a favor before you close this one out tonight and head on to bed. Hit that like, hit that
Share.
heart for us.
Yeah.
And we greatly appreciate everyone sticking with us. Late night edition of the recap show. Usually we would have started 18 minutes ago, but we got
Yeah.
back in early. Referee didn't know what the heck he was doing by running that clock.
Making it good for us, though.
So well, at least we got out the building early and got home here a little early. But Gary, let's go games of the night, week 6, my friend. Start us off.
Oh,
Who
man.
won game of the night in your honor?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I would probably say Northwest over Iota. That was to me. That was
You
that
talk
was a
about
great.
one of the biggest games of the night for sure. Just the way it ended.
Right. That was amazing for me. And who? Hanson Memorial. Who did
Generette.
Okay, that's it. Generette over Hanson Memorial. That's another game of the night. I think that was man. That was
Yes.
that was just
Overtime
like an
thriller.
overtime thriller too. So that one. Iowa over South Bow.
Yeah, a good shootout
Yeah.
on Thursday night.
And West Feliciana over St. Martin.
Hey, 1 point come from behind victory there.
Right.
I like your game of the night,
That's
my
my-
friend.
that's my thr-
I'm going to be a little bit similar here.
Okay.
Let's see. Generate over Hanson. I'm
Right.
giving overtime thrillers tonight,
Right.
game
Oh,
of the night.
definitely.
Absolutely. I'm giving Northwest over Iota just by going into that stadium when nobody is giving you a shot in the
Right.
state of Louisiana to win, and you go and knock them off in overtime. That's the game of the night.
You're right.
Newman over Bell Chase, another
Nice.
overtime thriller tonight, earns game of the night honors.
Right.
3 overtimes right there,
Mhm.
earning game of the night for me. Ruston and Alexandria in a good old shootout,
Shootout, right.
35-28 win there. Alexandria showed a lot of promise tonight.
Right.
They played a gauntlet there. They played STM, Karen Crow, and now Ruston. So keep a lookout on that Alexandria football team. They're battle
Yeah,
tested.
they are.
And then I agree with you. Iowa and South Bow, that shootout on Thursday night, that's a good one for me. That would, if I was calling that game, I would have had a lot of fun.
Oh, most definitely. That was a good game.
Gary, upsets of the night, who is it?
Man, Avoyles over Oakdale.
That's the big one.
That's the
0
one I
and
could.
5 knocks off 4 and 2.
Right. The next one I have is not really an upset, but it is an upset. Captain Shreve over Airline.
Yeah, that was an undefeated
Undefeated
airline
airline team.
at home, Gary.
Right.
I like it.
And to me, it's East Bow over Oakland.
You like that one?
I like that one. I
Okay,
actually thought
I'll give it to you. Okay.
that was an upset of the night.
Gary, I agree. Avoyles over Oakdale. Even though we called it on the Wednesday night show,
Right.
it's still an upset on the field
Right.
and paper.
Right, most definitely.
Because look at the records.
Right, that's what we're talking about.
Central Catholic over Centerville. I'm going to give the upset a little slight upset there because of the records. I know we're reaching at this point for an
Right.
upset because it was such a lopsided week.
Right.
But I'll lean that way. I'll give Riverside over St. Martin's an upset. You go on the road, you knock off one of the nation's best. They were undefeated, so I'm going to lean that route there.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Shreve over Airline, obviously. You go on the road, knock off an undefeated team. A lot of teams going on the road tonight knocking
Right.
off undefeateds. We did not make that a headline at the
You're
beginning of
right.
the show. And then give me Rummel over John Curtis.
I never thought
Overtime
about that one, yes.
win at John Curtis tonight. I'll take that as an
Yeah.
upset. I mean, you don't just beat
Oh,
John Curtis
no, you don't beat- you
two
don't
weeks
beat-
in a row.
Yeah, you don't do that. That's something, and it happens. So
Yes.
that's kind of an upset.
Gary, let's go UTL statement win of the night. Who made a statement tonight and who deserves it?
Turling Scadlick over Westgate.
The lopsided win,
Right.
dominating win at home. Good pick.
Right.
Good pick.
This is the champs, and I always say to beat the champs, you got to beat the champs.
Yes.
But St. Charles flexed their muscles over Abbeville. They just really, we're here to stay, and we're not going anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm over here
Yeah.
with this one.
Karen Crow over Lafayette High. Statement of the district. We're here, and we're going to be there till the end. I think it's going to. And the other part of that, Acadiana over Sam Houston. That's my statement. Especially those two kind of are joined,
Mm-hmm.
because of where they're going. So that's my statements that I see.
Gary, statement wins of the night. Eunice on the road and knocking off rain in convincing fashion. Bobcats That was a statement.
That was a big statement, yes.
That was hello, state of Louisiana type of moment.
Mm-hmm.
Jennings over Kinder tonight. Spalding homecoming.
Right.
Coach goes and shuts out his former team. Jennings with a statement win tonight, my friend.
I agree.
Northwest goes into hostile territory. Iota, the district champs from a year ago, could they slay the Bulldogs tonight? It took overtime, and it took one last stop on a 2-point conversion. You want to make a statement? How about you go and knock off the Bulldogs in their stadium? What a win! What a statement! To just send a message to the entire district.
Right.
Raiders are here.
I agree.
Gary, statement win of the night. Oak Grove hanging 60 on Haynesville tonight. Undefeated Haynesville. They dominated at home tonight and quieted down a lot of naysayers in the state of Louisiana. That's still the defending state champs we're talking about.
It is.
One more for you. Statement win of the night. Karen Crow's defense shutting out Lafayette. You got to think after Karen Crow has given up a lot of points these first 5 weeks, to get a goose egg tonight, that's a statement. And what they have went through these first 5 weeks to go shut out a Lafayette team, I like it.
Right.
Good.
I agree.
We have Troy checking into the chat. Good win tonight, Troy. Curtis scored to win the game, but was called for a holding penalty. They got to stop on the final play on a pass in the end zone.
Ooh, wow.
So 2 weeks in a row, Curtis has got the short end of the stick.
That's right. Unbelievable.
Hey, it's time to give away some helmet stickers of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Gary, helmet stickers of the night. Who gets them?
Okay, first one I got Turling. I'm gonna stay kind of local. Turling's Catholic.
Okay.
Flex and Muscle, they did real good.
Helmet sticker of the night.
Right.
To the Rebels. Setting up a huge matchup next week.
That's right. Acadiana.
Acadiana Wrecking Rams. You're back on the wagon,
I'm
huh?
back on the wagon. Fear the Veer, go for it.
Will you pick them next week?
Probably. I don't know. I'll have to see.
Will
We'll think about it.
John Curtis lose 3 in a row?
I don't know.
They play Acadiana
I
next
know.
week, Gary.
I'm aware of the situation. And then my next one is Como.
Who?
Not Como. You know what I'm talking about. I said Como for the Cancro.
Karen Crow. I said.
I wanted to see your hair just kind of flow up. No. Karen Crow.
UTL Sports 4 is the Twitter page.
Yeah. I think the Crow. I think Karen Crow and Acadiana are on a collision course. They got to be. Eunice for flexing their muscles tonight. Congratulations on that. And believe it or not, from Barb.
Yes, man.
Barb, I got that, and I'm gonna throw in the Northwest for doing a great job on that too. But I mean, that's mine. That's it can go a lot of different ways.
Hey, bonus headline real quick. Destrehan's head football coach picks up his 100th win.
Heard that earlier today. Yes. Congratulations, Destrehan. Don't sleep on them. They were quiet last year, won a state championship. They're quiet. Not everybody's talking about them.
How about a 6-0 quiet?
Man.
How can you be 6-0 defending state champs and you're not getting much headlines?
They never do for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that. One of my good friends that lives in Destrehan was telling me that. He says they don't get a lot of media, even over there. And I'm going to tell you right now, look out for Destrehan. They may be on a course to repeat.
Yeah. Helmet stickers for myself, Mr. Swallow. I give helmet stickers to the 2 winning teams that I covered this week. So, Opelousas High, dominating win on Thursday night in front of a great rushing attack between your quarterback, your running back, your backup running back. You had a couple of guys play from that area. I think you had 5 or 6 touch the ball that night, but Ford and Malvo and Amos touching the football that night. Helmet sticker of the night, big win, OHS, helmet sticker.
Yeah.
Finally get back home next week for
That's
the Titans.
right.
I know they're probably
They probably excited to get back to Don Gore.
chomping at the bit to get back home. Basile, big home win tonight
Yes.
over Hamilton Christian to stay in that district race, and they earned helmet sticker of the night. The player of the game tonight was special to watch.
Very much.
Northwest going into Iota and knocking off Iota earns helmet sticker of the night. Avoyles upsetting Oakdale tonight, getting their first win, earned helmet sticker of the night. And then I gave my last helmet sticker of the night to Holly's Lock of the Week. It went to St. Louis Saints helmet sticker.
Can't argue with none of that, man.
If you message me on the side, I'll let you know where we're going next week. I just don't like to say it on the air. I like to make my posts on Sunday.
Sunday, and then we'll let everybody know Wednesday.
Gary Swallow,
Yes, Jordy Taylor.
before we close out week 6 and get ready for week 7, let's look into the future.
Yes, let's.
Next week, my friend, Westlake at Iowa.
Yes.
Catholic appointed P at OC. Next week,
Big game there, guys.
North Dakota at Evangel.
Oh, yeah.
St. Ed's at Sacred Heart. They hate each other.
Oh, man. That is going to be a big time rivalry there.
They don't like each other, my friend. How about Holy Cross at Brother Martin?
That's going to be a ball game.
Jesuit at Edna Carr.
Oh! The University of Edna Carr playing against Jesuit. Look out.
St. Charles versus St. Martinville.
Ooh.
Not even going to be close.
That's going to be a little one-sided, I think, on that one.
Church Point Northwest.
That's going to be tight.
You can wrap up the district championship next
Right
week
there.
at your home field.
Yeah. Northwest wins it. They have the leaders all the way through.
St. Louis and Lake Charles College Prep next week.
Whoa.
Both of them undefeated in district play. Winner of that game is in the driver's seat.
Definitely. Definitely.
With a date with Iowa soon.
That's right.
Gary, University Lab at Madison Prep next week.
Ooh.
LCA versus Turlings next week.
That's going to be a ball game, ladies and gentlemen.
Acadiana at John Curtis next week. Veer to veer, both sides.
That's going to be a veer running machine on both sides. Look out. Who will win? That's a question.
Union Parish at Sterlington next week.
That is going to be exciting. Sterlington is tough, guys. Union Parish is starting to click. Can't never tell. That's why you play the game.
Week 7 already shaping up to be a dandy. Week 6, close the doors. We end week 6. And that's tough to say. That means we're getting a little older.
Yeah.
These days are going by sooner, quicker.
Right. And before you know it, we're going to be at the end of the season. And before you know it after that, we're going to be in the dome.
Yeah, and then we're going to be doing our final show of the year.
Yeah.
Wrapping up of how quickly this season went.
And then we're going to be crying because we're waiting for, we ain't going to have no more football. Terrible. But
Let's see.
that's the way it goes.
Coach Brody listening from Kaplan Fieldhouse. Great job tonight, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Mr. Bryan says, do you think the Opelousas High Tigers can win the district championship again this year? The defensive line gives them a really good shot for Opelousas High. And if Malvo can hit his receivers, because you got to think Cecilia is going to try to load the box and shut down forward. So if they can hit the big play on offense, if that defensive front can get some pressure on Mr. Diesel, they got a really good shot to repeat as district champs. But it's got to play clean in the
Right.
department of turnovers and got to stay penalty free.
Right. You gotta be smart, and they just got, like you say, got to keep everything clean. And yes, I think they can.
Yes, indeed. Next week, week 7, we'll be somewhere Thursday. We'll be somewhere Friday. The only spoiler I can give, Gary, we get to cover a team next week for the very first time. We get to go to a different stadium for the very first time. So another stadium we get to cross off next week. Another team we get to cross off next week.
Right. We getting there, guys.
Coach is watching film and tuning in. Keep up the great work, guys. Farmers, we either want a helmet for the show or we want to come up there and cover a football game.
Yes.
Show,
Let's do it.
Union Parish showed a lot of love for that quarterfinal game when they came to Abbeville. Why not go back up there one day or just get a helmet sent in the mail?
We want a Union helmet. We want to put it right there.
Or we want to cover a game in person.
That's right. Either one. Preferably both.
Other than that, Mr. Gary, final thoughts of week 6. Get me excited for week 7.
Man, let me tell you something. Week 6 was so awesome. We covered a great game as far as this week tonight. Jordy covered a great game last night with our local team, OHS, having a real successful night. Man, you can't ask for better than that. Get some of the locals involved. But, man, it's going so fast. But you guys, it only gets better and better as the district titles start to get closer. Just keep striving, keep doing what you got to do. The best is yet to come.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Hey, thank you to everyone that tuned in tonight for a late night edition of the Recap Show. You believe in us week in and week out. You give us the opportunity to recap the high school football night across the state of Louisiana. We do our best with what we're presented. We're not the best of what we do, but we try as hard as we can to give you great high school football talk, and it shows. You keep coming back every week, so thank you for that. I want to thank our sponsors from tonight. 3 great sponsors for getting on board for game day sponsors, so thank you to those guys for sure.
Right.
We'll shut it down, Mr. Swallow. We'll go enjoy the rest of the weekend. We'll get ready to do it all again next week. Same time, same place next week.
Same time, same place next week. Let's get it going.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your weekend from myself, Jordan Taylor, Mr. Gary Swallow, live from Opelousas, Louisiana. Close the door on week 6. Open the door for week 7. We're coming to give you week 7 football next Wednesday at 8:30. Thursday we'll be somewhere in the state. Friday we'll be somewhere in the state. God bless high school football. God bless Under the Lights. God bless everyone for watching and supporting. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks.
Thanks, guys.